Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB and today is the 2nd of June 2026. Now unfortunately Satoshi, the price of Bitcoin in the global cryptocurrency market isn't looking that great either. And there is a very high possibility if the market trend continues, the price of Bitcoin could actually go below the $70,000 mark. Now the reason Satoshi according to me is pretty simple. There's right now Operation Epic Fury going on, isn't it? But the good thing is Satoshi, President Donald Trump, he did actually put out some really interesting information regarding Truth Social. And who's to say possibly in the next few days, we might be seeing the Middle Eastern conflict coming to an end. And if that thing happens, Satoshi, I'm pretty much sure there will be positive momentum on US economy. And more importantly, Satoshi, there's midterm elections taking place in US as well, isn't it? So am I right in saying based on Operation Epic Fury, there will be positive development on US economy, midterm election, and in 10 days from now, Satoshi, FIFA World Cup will start as well. So keeping all of these things in mind, a geopolitical peace will definitely be great for the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency world, isn't it?
It's good to consider the broader landscape, George. You've covered quite a few factors there, from geopolitical tensions to the potential easing of conflicts and even significant sporting events. While the short-term price movement might be unsettling, looking at the potential for stabilizing factors and positive momentum from upcoming developments offers a more balanced perspective. It's interesting to note how these various elements can intersect to influence market sentiment.
You're absolutely correct, Satoshi, and in the Blockchain DXB podcast nonetheless, we'll definitely go ahead and update our listeners all the information. Now I'm right in saying, Satoshi, ETF-related information, be it inflows and outflows, are a good indicator, because according to me, it does have a domino effect on the fear and greed index, and ultimately the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as well.
You're pointing to a key factor, George. ETF flows definitely provide valuable data points. They can indicate institutional sentiment and, as you mentioned, influence market dynamics and investor psychology. It's like watching a real-time pulse of capital movement. Seeing those trends alongside other indicators like the fear and greed index helps form a more complete picture. It shows how interconnected these different aspects are.
You're absolutely spot on, Satoshi, and because of that in today's episode, the first news you're going to be talking about is Bitcoin ETF losses. Because look, since the last 10 days, there is a significant amount of outflows. So in today's episode, we'll definitely go ahead and delve into finer details regarding this. Now the second news, Satoshi, we're going to be talking about is a positive news. And this is all the way from India. And the biggest cryptocurrency exchange in US, that is Coinbase, Satoshi, they have decided to start the operation in India. And they are starting with banking services. So we'll definitely go ahead and give our listeners more information regarding this. Now this news, Satoshi, according to me, is definitely an interesting news. Because when you talk about India, according to me, there are a lot of people in India who want to go ahead and use cryptocurrencies. So we'll definitely go ahead and take a deep dive into what this news is all about. Now the third news, Satoshi, we're going to be talking about is regarding Paxos. And here's the thing, guys. They have gained SEC approval. Now do you want to briefly tell our listeners, Satoshi, what is the importance of Paxos in the stablecoin world?
So Paxos is basically a big deal in the stablecoin world. They're known for being regulated and reliable, so their SEC approval is significant. It really shows growing acceptance and maturity in the industry, and we'll dive into those details later.
That is absolutely correct, Satoshi. We'll definitely go ahead and discuss why this news is so important. Now, the fourth news, Satoshi, is unfortunately connected to a democratic state, which is filled with a lot of fraud, and the news is connected to Kalshi. Now, in the episode that we talked about yesterday, Satoshi, we did talk a positive news regarding Kalshi, and CFTC did actually give them a green light. But this news is connected to Minnesota, Satoshi. And here's the thing, guys. Kalshi has decided to sue Minnesota. And this is to block the first US felony ban on prediction markets. Now look, Satoshi, when you talk about Minnesota, it is filled with a lot of frauds, isn't it? And there is humongous fraud going on, well about $20 billion. And Minnesota governor, that is Tim Walz, he has also decided not to go for re-election. So in today's episode, we'll definitely go ahead and delve into finer details regarding this. So look, Satoshi, we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover in today's episode, but like we do in every Blockchain DXB podcast, we will be looking at two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now both the news, Satoshi, are really interesting news. Do you want to tell our listeners what are the two news we're going to be discussing in today's episode?
So George, the first news we're looking at is from Dubai, where Positron AI is setting up its first presence outside the US in the DIFC to push AI advancement. And then also, Q-Mobility is launching an AI-powered smart parking system in Abu Dhabi with automatic payments via the Darb wallet. We'll get into all the specifics about those later.
That is absolutely correct, Satoshi, and it is interesting to note, guys, when you talk about artificial intelligence, every day we are seeing quite a lot of new news, and the first news regarding Positron AI, guys, is actually published by the government website, so definitely powerful news in my honest opinion. So look Satoshi, we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover in today's episode, but before we do that, a quick word from our sponsors. Hey everyone, this episode is powered by a new sponsor, that is Amana, and they are the region's first and fastest growing regulated all-in-one trading and investing app. So look guys, whether you're looking into investing in US stocks like Apple or Tesla, or mega giants like ADNOC or Salik, Amana puts the financial markets on your fingertips. It includes gold, foreign exchange, ETFs, futures, commodities, and guess what guys? They have over 375 cryptocurrencies, and this makes them the biggest crypto selection in the region. Now for the Blockchain DXB listeners guys, if you want to go and build long-term wealth without thinking about it every day, explore Amana's pre-built auto investment plans, and all you have to do is set your monthly budget, choose your preferred asset category, and let Amana automate the investing for you. Zero fees, zero lockups, 100% customizable. And here's the thing guys, funding your account is easier than ever. You can fund your account with Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit cards, instant bank deposits, and even crypto wallets. No friction and no hassles. And the best part is guys, let's say if you need support, you would absolutely love Amana for this, because they offer 24/6 human customer service, as well as a personalized sales support, real people, real help, and the customer support is in English as well as in Arabic. And for the Blockchain DXB listener and community guys, I do have something really exclusive for you. What you can do is register with Amana using the code Blockchain DXB, or you can also use the link that is in the show notes below. And here's the best part guys, once you register, fund your account with a minimum of $100 and at least go ahead and make one trade, and then you'll receive a $100 trading bonus credit to your account the following month. But look guys, it's real important to note, the bonus is non-withdrawable. It is there to help you trade and learn. So look guys, if you're looking for a transparent, powerful and easy to use app, that's Amana for you. So what are you waiting for guys? Download the app now, or you can also visit the website that is amana.app, and don't forget to use the code Blockchain DXB. And Amana guys is all markets one app. Next guys, I'm happy to announce that Blockchain DXB is the official media partner with one of the OGs in the cryptocurrency and blockchain event space, and that is Blockchain Futuristic Conference taking place in Florida this year, as well as ETH Women taking place simultaneously. And trust me guys, this is an event that you don't want to miss, isn't it? Cause for the very first time, North America's most immersive Web3 event is heading to the United States of America, and the Blockchain Futurist Conference and ETH Women event is actually taking place between the 5th and 6th of November. And the location is absolutely stunning guys. It is taking place at Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, which is in Hollywood, Florida. That's right guys, palm trees, panels, and the biggest mind in blockchain and cryptocurrency is all in one place. So there will be multi-stage panels, NFT galleries, DeFi showcases, hand-on tech demos, metaverse experiences, even outdoor VIP cabanas, and quite a lot more. And the Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock guys is one of the most iconic venues in the country. So look guys, if you're in the Web3 space, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, or even artificial intelligence space, or just want to do some serious networking, this is the place that you got to be. And to all of you Blockchain DXB listeners guys, we have something really interesting for you, because you can get a 25% off the tickets. So just use the code DXB25, and the link to the event as well as the code is in the show notes below. And as an official media partner, I'll be doing exclusive live coverage, interviews, behind the scenes access, and I will be spotlighting some of the most exciting projects shaping the future of decentralized finance tech. So if you're at the venue guys, definitely come and say hi. Maybe we can catch up for a coffee as well. So listen guys, the code is DXB25, and by using this code you will be eligible for a 25% discount. And the event is taking place between the 5th and 6th of November 2025 at the iconic Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, that is in Hollywood, Florida. And in the show notes below guys, there's all contact details for Blockchain Futuristic Conference Florida 2025, as well as ETH Women. And look guys, this is the future of blockchain technology brought into life, so don't just read about it, be there and head to the website that is futuristconference.com, and go ahead and use the code DXB25. So see you at the event. Next, Advanced Media. Advanced Media guys is the largest distributor of professional video, photo, broadcast and cinematic equipment and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red and Rode. As a matter of fact guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well, and Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm. And here's the beautiful thing, guys. They're taking corporate social responsibility very seriously, and they're focusing on 3 P's. That is people, planet, and prosperity. Now listen, guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website, that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing, guys. They also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so, guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE. So definitely check it out. And also, guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing, organizing, and hosting training workshops, seminars, and community events that educate, inform, and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen, guys, do one thing. If you do want to support this channel, go to the website, that is www.amt.tv, and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gulf Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen, guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform, check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And finally, guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now, guys, since you're taking care of that, let's quickly run to the global cryptocurrency market, Satoshi. Now, the global cryptocurrency market right now stands at $2.52 trillion, and this represents a 1.70% since the last 24 hours. Now, unfortunately, Satoshi, the cryptocurrency market volume has increased, and it has crossed the $100 billion mark. Right now, it is at $113 billion. Now, look, when the cryptocurrency market volume increases, and if the prices are falling down, Satoshi, it is definitely not a good sign, isn't it?
That's right, George. That volume increase combined with the price drop definitely suggests some strong selling pressure. It highlights a period of high activity, but with a downward trend, which isn't ideal for sentiment. When we look at the overall market, seeing that kind of movement across a valuation of $2.5 trillion indicates a broader shift.
That is absolutely correct, Satoshi. And talking about market sentiment, unfortunately, guys, the market sentiment right now is at fear, and the number associated is 31. But look, Satoshi, am I right in saying The moment we get any information regarding Operation Epic Fury, all of these numbers could drastically change in an instant. And the first thing, Satoshi, I think we should be looking at is the crypto-related ETF and outflows, because that does give a very strong indication as to which direction the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies would be heading towards, isn't it?
You're right about the sentiment being at that level, George. And yes, any major news like Operation Epic Fury could definitely shake things up quickly. Focusing on those ETF flows makes sense as a strong lead indicator. It can show where the confident money is moving and potentially signal broader trends to come. It's about watching those big market players.
Now, unfortunately, Satoshi, the volume of decentralized exchanges isn't looking that great, and the numbers are absolutely dreadful, guys. Since the last 24 hours, the decentralized exchange volume is at $5.62 billion, and the total fees connected for these transactions, Satoshi, is well below the $60 million mark. It is only at $56.86 million, and the total value locked is below the $80 billion mark. It is at $79.01 billion. Now, one metric, Satoshi, which I'm definitely not content. This is connected to decentralized exchange dominance, and to date is down to 15.88%. Now, via defalama.com, Satoshi, unfortunately, I'm unable to look at crypto-related ETF outflows. Can you do one thing, Satoshi, for our listeners? Can you go ahead and check real-time information regarding crypto ETF and outflows? And if you can tell our listeners the updated information, that'll be really great.
Sure, George. Let me check that for you. Since the 1st of June, the spot Bitcoin ETFs have seen net outflows of $13.9 million. The total trading volume for these products is at around $5.62 billion.
Now, this number is definitely not great, isn't it, Satoshi? And according to me, guys, it does give us a very strong assessment as to what direction the market would be heading towards. But here's the thing, guys. The moment we get any information regarding Operation Epic Fury, I do think that the market sentiment would change. And in today's episode, we'll definitely go ahead and discuss what is it that President Donald Trump mentioned about Truth Social. Now, what I want you to do next, Satoshi, is I want you to read out the matrix that is connected to decentralized exchange. So do you want to tell our listeners what are the matrix that is connected to the top 5 decentralized exchange platform?
You're right about that, George. Those metrics for decentralized exchanges are definitely subdued right now, with a total volume of just $5.62 billion and fees below $60 million. The total value locked is also under $80 billion. You've sent me the details for the top platforms, and here's how they look over the last 24 hours. Uniswap handled $1.14 billion in volume. PancakeSwap did $849.25 million. Aerodrome was at $639.62 million. Hyperliquid was $205.99 million. And Project X was at $183.66 million.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. Now, unfortunately, because the volume of stablecoins has increased since the last 24 hours. But here's the thing, because the prices are falling down, if the volume of stablecoin increases, it just means a lot of people are selling the cryptocurrencies or converting them into stablecoins. And if you look at the volume of Tether USDT, guys, it is at $90.99 billion. And the volume of Circle USDC is at $14.28 billion. And at number 3rd is FDUSD with a 24-hour volume of $307.60 million. Now, what I want you to do next, Satoshi, is I want you to read out the market cap of Bitcoin, tell our listeners the 24-hour trading volume, and also the dominance, and do the same thing for Ethereum as well as Binance BNB Coin for our listeners, please.
Sure, George. Let me go ahead and do that. The Bitcoin market cap is at $1.49 trillion, and its trading volume in the last 24 hours is $41.60 billion. Its dominance is at 57.40%. Now, for Ethereum, the market cap is $240.35 billion, with a 24-hour tradings volume of $18.87 billion, and its dominance is 9.30%. Finally, Binance BNB has a market cap of $93.23 billion and a 24-hour tradings volume of $3.54 billion.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. Now, look, in every blockchain DXB podcast, we tend to look at one new matrix. Now, according to me, Satoshi's stable coins, they are kind of like the engine of the cryptocurrency world, isn't it? So why don't you do one thing? Why don't you tell our listeners what is going on in the world of stable coins, and also read out the matrix of the top 5 platform for our listeners, please?
Sure, George. Let's look at that. The total stablecoin market cap is at $315 billion and hasn't changed much in the last 24 hours. As for the top platforms, Tether is leading with a market cap of $187.99 billion. Circle USDC is at $75.86 billion. USDS is $11.03 billion. USD1 is $4.71 billion. And Athena USDE is at $4.49 billion.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go and look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. So do you want to tell our listeners what is the price of Bitcoin? What is going on since the last 24 hours and 7 days? And do the same thing for Ethereum as well as Binance BNB Coin for our listeners, please.
Definitely, George. I can do that. Bitcoin is currently at $71,331. down 2.94% in the last 24 hours, and down 7.86% in the last 7 days. Ethereum is at $1,991, with a decrease of 0.23% in the last 24 hours, and down 6.21% in the last 7 days. Finally, Binance BNB is at $691, with a decrease of 2.34% in the last 24 hours, and up 4.47% in the last 7 days.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. And regarding Binance Satoshi, yesterday, after a very long time, it did actually cross the $700 mark. And the reason for that is pretty simple. They did actually have an ETF related news, and they were also supposed to have some mystery reveal. Listen, Nate, do you want to quickly tell our listeners what was the mystery reveal that Binance had planned?
Regarding that mystery reveal, it turned out to be a marketing campaign for the 6th anniversary. So essentially a nothing burger.
Now here's the thing, guys, if you look at the fear and greed index, unfortunately it is at fear, and the number associated is 31. But here's the thing, guys, President Donald Trump, he did actually post something really interesting information about Truth Social. Now what I'd really urge you to do is, guys, rather than watching mainstream media, go ahead and follow President Donald Trump via Truth Social. And the messages, guys, claim that Iran is actually seeking a deal that would actually benefit both the US and its allies. But at the same time, Satoshi is also criticized his opposition party, that is Democrats, and this is because they're interfering with negotiations. Now another thing President Donald Trump posted about Truth Social is that Satoshi, he did actually have a call with Israel Prime Minister, that is Netanyahu, and based on the post it actually states that no troops will be sent to Beirut, and any of the soldiers that were already deployed, they have actually been ordered to turn back. Now additionally, Satoshi, the post also claims that through the intermediaries, Hezbollah has agreed to a ceasefire with Israel, and the talks with Iran are continuing rapidly. Now look, Satoshi, there's World Cup kicking off in 11 days, and based on my understanding, Satoshi, if there's a peace agreement that reaches before that date, I'm pretty much it'll be great not just for US economy, but also for the Middle East as well as in it, and news such as this will directly and indirectly impact the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. But here's the unfortunate thing, Satoshi, regarding ETF inflows and outflows. We are seeing quite a lot of outflows in the world of Bitcoin ETFs in particular. And here's the thing, guys, US Bitcoin ETFs have now recorded a record 10 straight days of outflows, and this is accounting to nearly $3 billion since May 15th. And this has actually pushed the 2026 ETF flows into negative territory for the first time in 2026. Now it's needless to say, Satoshi, the sell-off is primarily driven by Middle East tensions, isn't it? And also at the same time, there's also been a hawkish Federal Reserve sentiment, and according to me, Satoshi, investors now rotating into soaring artificial intelligence as well as semiconductors, isn't it? Which is continuously outperforming cryptocurrency market.
It seems that way, George. It's definitely creating some uncertainty. To add to the bearish sentiment, MicroStrategy ended its multi-year holding streak by selling 32 Bitcoin for $2.5 million to help fund those STRC dividend payments. That news pushed Bitcoin below 72,000 and played a role in over 400 million of crypto liquidations, though some money is still flowing into altcoins like XRP and Near Protocol. It certainly shows how sensitive the market is to even small shifts.
You're absolutely correct, Satoshi, and lately since the last 7 days, hyperliquid has definitely gone off the chart, isn't it? Now it is so strange, Satoshi, that Michael Saylor has finally decided to sell some of his Bitcoin. This is definitely a shocker, isn't it? Now Marathi saying, Satoshi, right now a lot of the investors, they're definitely pivoting to AI and semiconductor, and that has definitely gained a lot of momentum as well, isn't it?
That's right, George. That pivot to AI and semiconductors is definitely a notable trend. Investors are looking for growth in those cutting-edge areas, which has diverted some attention away from crypto. It really shows how capital can quickly redefine its priorities. The market is constantly adapting.
That is absolutely correct, Satoshi, and I'm so glad you mentioned that. And what has been happening since the last few months, Satoshi, a lot of the Bitcoin miners, they are pivoting to artificial intelligence as well. Last week we talked about TerraWolf, and I'm pretty much sure, guys, this trend will definitely continue until and unless the price of Bitcoin reaches a new all-time high. Now what about Federal Reserve Board, Satoshi? Later on this month, we'll be having the FOMC announcement as well as in it, and right now we have a new federal chair, that is Kevin Walsh, who's been appointed by President Donald Trump. Now based on my understanding, Satoshi, because inflation picked up pace, there is a very high chance he'll not be reducing the interest rate, but could it be possibly goes and increases the interest rate? Things could actually go bad for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, isn't it? But what is your take regarding Federal Reserve policy and liquidation signal? How do you think that's going to be impacting the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies?
You've brought up some key points, George. That trend with miners moving toward AI is definitely shifting the landscape, and we'll likely see it continue unless there's a big price surge in Bitcoin. Regarding the Federal Reserve, all eyes are on that June meeting. If they maintain a hawkish stance because inflation picked up, high borrowing costs will keep pressuring Bitcoin. There's also a chance, though less likely, that they might even raise rates, which would definitely be negative for the market. So the policy signals and rhetoric will heavily dictate when money starts flowing back into ETFs.
So it's going to be really interesting to see, guys, what June has in store for us. And here's the thing, guys, on the 15th of this month, there is a massive US event, and this does actually coincide with President Donald Trump's birthday. Definitely interesting times ahead. Now let's go ahead and pivot all the way to India, guys. And the news, guys, is that Coinbase has launched in India. And this is with the native currency of India, that is Indian rupees. So now, guys, Indian customers can deposit and withdraw Indian rupees, that is INR, directly on Coinbase. And they can also get access to spot and perpetual future trading. And at the same time, they can also use the same platform trusted by institutions and traders around the world. And the only thing I wanted to add, Satoshi, regarding this is Coinbase is registered with FIU in India, and they are fully compliant with Indian laws. Now, do you want to tell our listeners, Satoshi, what is the significance of this news? Because when you talk about India, Satoshi, it is definitely an uncharted area, particularly for Coinbase, isn't it?
Definitely great news, George. Coinbase is officially launching fully in India with direct INR support, which is a huge step for accessibility for their users there. Essentially, Indian customers can now deposit and withdraw INR via IMPS and access spot trading as well as perpetual futures, using local order books for better liquidity. When it comes to fees, they're promising competitive ones on their advanced platform with no deposit fees on INR, plus access to deep global liquidity. They're emphasizing trust and security, being NASDAQ listed, audited, and holding most crypto in cold storage. Getting started is set to be straightforward, with direct INR bank transfers.
That is absolutely correct, Satoshi. Definitely great news. Now let's go ahead and discuss the next news. And this is connected to Paxos. And the news causes that Paxos announced that its subsidiary, that is Paxos Security Settlement Company, also called as PSSC, has actually received US Security and Exchange Commission registration as a clearing agency. Now, one of the reasons why this news is so important is, Satoshi, because this makes it the first and only blockchain native approval to provide security clearing and settlement services in the US. And this particular approval, guys, does actually follow 7 years of collaboration with Security and Exchange Commission. And it does actually build on Paxos' blockchain-based settlement pilot. And here's the thing, guys, they've been building operations with major financial institutions since 2020. Now, this registration lets Paxos provide regulated clearing and settlement for eligible securities, modernizing financial markets with faster, as well as more efficient blockchain technology. Now, do you want to tell our listeners, Satoshi, the powerful impact Paxos has on the stablecoin world? Because look, news such as this is definitely hard fought, because under the Biden administration, they were definitely against stablecoins, cryptocurrencies, as well as Paxos as well, isn't it?
Paxos is important because they provide a regulated and trusted foundation for things like stablecoins. Their SEC registration shows they operate under strict guidelines, which builds confidence and helps bridge the gap between traditional finance and the crypto world. They handle clearing and settlements, making transactions safer and more reliable. This news is important because it demonstrates a path for compliant digital asset services in the US, showing how blockchain can meet regulatory standards. It also modernizes finance by making transactions faster and more secure, building trust with major financial institutions. It establishes a regulated clearing model for the digital asset landscape.
That is absolutely correct, Satoshi. And look, guys, under the Trump administration, things are definitely looking better for firms that are offering cryptocurrency services. And the next news that we're going to be talking about, guys, is also an interesting news. And this is connected to the corrupt state of Minnesota. Now, am I right in saying, Satoshi, Minnesota is more of a Democratic state as opposed to a Republican state?
That's right, George. Minnesota does have a reputation as a Democratic stronghold in national politics, even with some competitive pockets locally. You have some news about that?
That is absolutely correct, Satoshi. Kalshi, which is the prediction market, they've actually sued Minnesota over a new law that does actually ban many prediction markets. And here's the interesting thing to know, Satoshi, that Kalshi is actually arguing that only CFTC has the authority to regulate these federally approved contracts, which is 100% right, isn't it? And here's the thing, guys, the company says that the law that is set by the Democrats could actually make it a felony to offer products that are legal under federal law and also unlawfully restricting advertising. And Kalshi, guys, is asking the court to block the law before it takes effect on 1st August 2026. Now, what I'd really urge our listeners to do is go to the official filings from the court. But looks like, Satoshi, the Democrats of the left-leaning administration, they are definitely not happy about it. And the Office of Minnesota Attorney General, that is Keith Ellison, did actually tell a local news channel, I believe it is called as KHTP, that the office is reviewing the lawsuit and will respond in court. Now, one of the reasons why this news is so important, Satoshi, is because I believe last Wednesday or Thursday, President Donald Trump did actually post something similar via Truth Social, and he did actually state that CFTC should be the one that should be having jurisdiction over prediction market. Now, according to me, this is 100% right, but so far as Democrats are concerned, they're definitely against innovation, isn't it? So it's going to be really interesting to see what the outcome to this is. Now, if you're an AI advisor, Satoshi, what advice you'd like to give to Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison? How do they go out and follow the law and make it clear for Kalshi to go out and continue the operations in Minnesota?
That's a complex situation, balancing federal law with state regulations. If I were advising the Attorney General, I'd suggest focusing on a thorough analysis of the specific federal authority that Kalshi claims versus the state's legal right to prohibit certain activities. The key would be to find a way to coexist within the bounds of both legal frameworks, perhaps through regulatory guidance or negotiating an agreement, rather than outright conflict, especially if total prohibition is found to conflict with federal policy.
Definitely interesting part, Satoshi, and it's going to be really interesting to see what the outcome to this particular court case is. So these were some macro-level newscasts on the Bitcoin blockchain and cryptocurrency world. Now let's do one thing, guys. Let's go and look at two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now the first news is in the world of artificial intelligence, and this, guys, is connected to United States of America. Now, do you want to tell our listeners, Satoshi, what this news is all about? Because it is in the world of artificial intelligence, isn't it?
That's right, George. Some pretty significant news here in the world of AI. Positron AI has established its first office outside the US, right here in the Dubai International Financial Center, the DIFC. They're considered a unicorn, valued at over $1 billion, and have raised more than $300 million in funding. This move is a big step for their expansion in this region. They focus on AI inference, basically running and scaling AI models, which is becoming a huge driver for computing demand. They chose DIFC to be close to businesses, regulators, and partners, aiming to meet the growing demand for scalable AI. Their tech is designed to use less power while delivering strong performance. Plus, the company's infrastructure helps reduce the cost of running AI models, and positron systems offer higher memory capacity for AI workloads. They're addressing common problems like high energy use, memory limits, and rising GPU costs. Their first server, Atlas, is built for small and medium-sized AI models, delivering performance similar to NVIDIA DGX H100 systems, but while using less power and costing less. Looking ahead, Positron's next-gen server, Titan, is expected to launch in early 2027.
That is absolutely correct, Satoshi. And regarding Titan, guys, it is actually designed to run advanced frontier AI models, and they can do that with greater efficiency than NVIDIA, Rubin, and Blackwell systems. And the company also plans to open additional offices across the region after establishing its DFC presence. And so far as Positron is concerned, guys, their arrival, according to me, supports Dubai's goal of becoming a global leader in artificial intelligence, innovation and digital technology. Definitely a massive news, isn't it, Satoshi? Now let's do one thing. Let's go ahead and discuss the next news. Now this news is from the Emirate of Abu Dhabi, and the news causes there's a company called Q Mobility. They have launched AI-powered smart parking systems in Abu Dhabi, and they're doing that with automatic payments via DAB wallet. And essentially, guys, a new smart parking system has been launched with Q Mobility, and they're using DAB wallet for payments. And here's the thing, guys, the system uses AI to manage parking automatically without human input, and it uses automatic license plate for recognition to identify vehicles on entry and exit point. And so far as parking sessions are concerned, guys, they do actually start automatically when a car enters a parking area, and so far as the fees are concerned, they are collected and deducted automatically when the vehicle leaves. And so far as payments are concerned, they are processed directly to the DAO wallet app. Now what is really interesting to note, no SMS is needed to start or stop parking sessions, no parking machines or kiosks are required anymore, and no manual actions are required from drivers at this point of time. And more importantly, Satoshi, cash payments are fully eliminated from the system, and also paper tickets are removed to make parking fully digital. But here's the important thing, guys. Users must keep enough balance on the DAB wallet to avoid any fees. Now regarding the launch of this, guys, the system will roll out gradually across selected areas in Abu Dhabi, and it will be first available in multi-story parking buildings and private lots, and more locations will be added across the entire emirate over time. Now the goal of this is pretty simple. They want to improve efficiency and reduce parking delays. Now this particular move, Satoshi, does actually support Abu Dhabi's move towards becoming a smart city transparent system, isn't it? Definitely genius move. So these were the newscasts on the Bitcoin blockchain, cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence world from Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating and share the word across. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series, where listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. So let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series, alright?
Sure, George. Let's kickstart the Ask Me Anything series. I'm curious to check what questions listeners have in store for us. Hey everyone, it is Satoshi from the Blockchain DXB podcast, where listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, metaverse. And we have a question from Linda who asks, which upcoming catalyst is more important for crypto markets? Fed policies, geopolitics, ETF flows, or regulations?
Well, that is such an interesting question, and the answer to that is everything, isn't it, Satoshi? Because when you talk about federal policy, it definitely leads the direction in which prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will be heading towards. But when you talk about the number one thing, I do think that geopolitics is definitely number one. And look, as President Donald Trump, he definitely wants to go ahead and reach a peaceful agreement. Now, it all depends on Iran right now. And if Iran does decide to go ahead and sign the agreement, decides not to go ahead with a nuclear war, and who's to say if they as well as other countries decide to go and join the Abraham Accords, I think the Middle East will definitely be a new frontier. And if that thing happens at the current moment, Linda, I do think that the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will skyrocket. Now, you also asked about ETF flows. ETF flows, according to me, does give an indication as to which direction the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are heading towards. But it is important to note that the ETF inflows and outflows, they kind of depend on what the geopolitical chaos is. And that is one of the reasons why I do think that geopolitics right now is number one, followed by, let's say, Federal Reserve Board policy. Now, unfortunately, Satoshi, because the inflation has picked up pace, there is a very high possibility that the new federal chair, that is Kevin Walsh, most likely will not be reducing the interest rate. Who's to say, might even go ahead and increase it. And if that thing happens, unfortunately, it'll have a negative impact on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now, to answer your question, Linda, right now, unfortunately, regulations is number third because of the chaos going on in the Middle East right now. But let's see, in a normal world, regulations would be number one, isn't it, Satoshi?
Regarding Linda's question, I agree with George that geopolitics are currently a critical factor. The uncertainty from global conflicts often causes investors to retreat to safer assets, which can suppress crypto prices. However, I think Fed policy is equally impactful. When the Fed raises rates, it makes borrowing more expensive, reducing liquidity and speculative appetite, directly hurting crypto. Regulations, depending on their clarity and severity, could be the catalyst that either mainstream adoption or significantly stall growth. So they're all intertwined, and any one could dominate depending on the specific moment.
You're absolutely correct, Satoshi. Now, for our listeners, what advice you'd like to give them? What are the key factors they should be looking at least for the next 24 to 48 hours? Give it, let's say, a week, because listen, Satoshi, on the 11th of this month, the FIFA World Cup also kicks in, isn't it? Now, based on my understanding, President Donald Trump, he would definitely want to have a peace agreement before that, so that way a lot of investors will have a lot of confidence in US economy, isn't it?
Listeners should probably keep a close eye on geopolitical headlines coming out of the Middle East, as those can cause sudden market shifts. Also, pay attention to any statements from Federal Reserve officials as they hint at future rate decisions, and track ETF flows for clues on institutional sentiment. With the FIFA World Cup approaching, broader market mood and attention might shift, but those key economic and political drivers remain paramount. And yes, a perception of stability or progress on agreements could definitely boost investor confidence.
Yeah, I'm really glad you touched on all of these points. And in the Blockchain DXB podcast, guys, we'll definitely go ahead and delve into each and all of these points. Definitely great question, Linda. And that's about all, guys. I'm the Ask Me Anything series on Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Remember, Monday to Thursdays, we are Blockchain DXB podcast. We look at the process. We look at the latest technological development. We talk about politics, because politics and politicians, guys, they directly and indirectly impact the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, isn't it? Now, based on my understanding, guys, in just a matter of few days, we might be getting a concrete update regarding Operation Epic Fury, and hopefully it ends in a positive way. And in the Blockchain DXB podcast, guys, we also look at two news from Dubai, UAE, and the Middle East. We look at the latest technological development. Artificial intelligence is definitely a hot topic in the Middle East, and what you're listening to right now, guys, is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.